Good morning, dear students, and welcome to today's session. Today we are going to start with a discussion of The Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 3. And this particular scene is a very brief scene where Antonio is in custody and he comes out onto the street of Venice with the jailer. So the brief scene with Antonio in custody serves to make more vivid the audience's impression of Antonio's predicament. So we get to know the predicament, the trouble in which Antonio was. Now Antonio happens to meet with Shylock on the street of Venice, and when Shylock sees Antonio with the jailer moving onto the streets of Venice, he expresses his indignation, his anger at the jailer, saying that how he could give a criminal the liberty of walking so freely on the streets of Venice. However, Antonio tries to pacify Shylock and begs for mercy so that Shylock may change his attitude. But Shylock, on the other hand, is delighted at seeing his enemy helpless and insists that he wants nothing else but the bond. So Antonio, now since he failed to pacify Shylock, so therefore he had nothing to do except to pray for the arrival of Bassanio to bid him his last farewell. So this short scene slowly prepares the audience for the climax of the bond plot or the trial scene. So the scene takes place on a street in Venice where Shylock, Salarino, Antonio and the gaoler are present. Gaoler means the jailer. So when Shylock sees the jailer have taken out Antonio onto the streets of Venice, he becomes furious at the jailer. That how can law have different hold on different people? So therefore Shylock very angrily is asking the jailer, "Gaoler, look to him. Tell not me of mercy. This is the fool that lent out money gratis. Gaoler, look to him." Gaoler, look to him means guard him closely. Guard him closely. And he is asking Antonio that don't beg for any type of mercy from me. And he addresses Antonio as a fool. Why a fool? Because he is the one who used to lend money to other people without charging any interest. And by doing so, he has brought down the rate of interest in Venice and ruined the business of Jewish moneylenders like that of Shylock. So therefore he is asking Antonio that now don't beg for any type of mercy. And at the same time he is warning the jailer that he must look closely to Antonio, he must guard closely to Antonio so that he does not escape from his hold. Antonio, however, in a miserable situation, he makes an last attempt to placate Shylock, to change the mind of Shylock. And in fact, Shylock is not ready to listen to Antonio. He is trying to move away from there. And Antonio is begging Shylock. He is saying, "Hear me yet, good Shylock." See, the words have changed. Earlier Antonio used to say, "I would call you a cur. I would like to spit on thy face once again." Okay. But now he is addressing Shylock as good Shylock. Why? Because he is now in need of Shylock's mercy in order to save his own life. So therefore he says, "Hear me yet, good Shylock. Please listen me speak." However, Shylock makes it very clear, "I will have my bond. Speak not against my bond." If you want to speak something, you speak, but do not speak anything against the bond. He is no mood of showing any mercy to Antonio. "I have sworn an oath that I will have my bond." And he makes it very clear that he does not want to become unfaithful. He has taken a vow before the Jewish God that he will have his bond and he will not soften in his demand for justice. So therefore he is not in a position where he could change his mind. And he tells his reason. Already he had given one reason, that he used to lend money free of interest. There are much more reasons for Shylock's hatred for Antonio. Personal reasons. He says, "Thou calledst me dog before thou hadst a cause. But since I am a dog, beware my fangs." So he reminds Antonio that how in the past he used to call Shylock a dog even without having any reason to do so. Only on the ground of religious hostility, he used to contempt Shylock, he used to ridicule Shylock and humiliate Shylock often in the public. And he had called Shylock a dog many times in the past. So now therefore Shylock is warning him that since he has called him a dog, so he must be aware of the fangs of a dog. Fangs means the teeth of a dog, that a dog can even bite when time comes. And now Shylock has the time. "The Duke shall grant me justice. I do wonder, thou naughty gaoler." He knows that the Duke cannot go against law. The Duke will have to grant him justice. And then he starts rebuking the gaoler, so expressing his anger at the gaoler. "Thou naughty gaoler." Naughty gaoler means a gaoler, a jailer who is good for nothing, because he is not the custodian of law. How can he become soft upon Antonio and have given Antonio the liberty to move on the street of Venice? That is very foolish on the part of the jailer. So therefore he rebukes the jailer. Antonio still means in a very soft way, he says, "I pray thee, hear me speak." He prays to Shylock that please listen to my words. However, Shylock once again insists. So this repetition of the words, "I will have my wand," slowly prepares the audience for the climax of the bond plot. We know that Shylock is not going to soften in any ways in his demand for justice or demand for the bond. He once again reminds Antonio, "I will have my bond, I will not hear thee speak. I will have my bond, and therefore speak no more. I will not be made a soft and dull-eyed fool." He is not a stupid man like that of Antonio, so he cannot be made to change his mind, to shake the head, relent and shy and yield to Christian intercessors. Intercessors means pleaders. So he is not so fool that he will shake his head, he will show pity, he will give in to those pleaders, Christian pleaders like Antonio. "Follow not, I will have no speaking, I will have my bond." So he wants Antonio not to follow him. He tells him, "Do not follow me." He is not going to speak anything to Antonio now, and he makes his mind clear that he will have his bond, and saying this, he exits from the stage. Now Salerino, who was present there, so he also comments after the departure of Shylock. He says, "It is the most impenetrable cur that ever kept with men." Okay, he addresses Shylock as a hard-hearted dog, impenetrable, whose heart cannot be penetrated, whose heart will not give in to any type of prayers, any type of entreaties, request. So therefore he addresses Shylock as a impenetrable cur, a hard-hearted dog, which is a common term of loathing and contempt in the mouth of a Christian for a Jew. And he says that he is such a hard-hearted dog that never before he had seen any man of the nature of Shylock living among other people. However, Antonio says, "Let him alone, let him go. I will follow him no more with bootless prayers." He is not going to pray any more to Shylock. He is not going to continue with his useless prayers to Shylock. "He seeks my life, his reason will I know." So he knows that Shylock is after his life, and he also knows that why Shylock is after his life. "I often delivered from his forfeitures many that have at times made moan to me." So Shylock has professional jealousy from Antonio. So Antonio says that in the past he has rescued many people from the penalties for non-payment to Shylock, by helping them with the loan, and that is the reason why Shylock hates him. And Salerino says, "I am sure the Duke will never grant this forfeiture to him." Salerno says that there is nothing for Antonio to worry because he is confident that the Duke will never allow Shylock to have the forfeiture of the bond or to demand Antonio's pound of flesh. However, Antonio says that the Duke cannot deny the course of law. The Duke cannot deny the course of law. The law must take its course. So, though Antonio is in a fix, but he does not want the Duke to change or twist the law for saving his life. He says that the law must take its course of action, because the commodity that strangers have with us in Venice, if it be denied, will much impeach the justice of the state. The commodity means the rights, because Antonio is aware that the rights that the foreigners, the Jews, share or have with the people of Venice, those rights must not be denied to these foreigners. Because if the foreigners are refused their rights, then it will make them doubt the justice of the state, which would have an adverse impact on the trade and commerce of the city, adverse impact on the international trade. So that the rights which the foreigners have among the Christians in Venice, that cannot be refused, because if they are denied those rights, it will be an accusation against Venetian justice, and it will adversely impact the international trade or the trade and commerce of Venice. So since Venice is known for its trade, and the prosperity of Venice largely depends upon the trade and commerce of the city, therefore it should not be denied. Justice should not be denied to the foreigners. Therefore go, these griefs and losses have so baited me that I shall hardly spare a pound of flesh tomorrow to my bloody creditor. He says that these losses has made him lose so much weight that he should hardly have a pound of flesh to pay or to spare to his bloody creditor, that is bloodthirsty creditor, Shylock. Well, Gawler on, pray God Bassanio come to see me pay his debt, and then I care not. So Shylock's, Antonio's chief concern at this point is that he is not sad that he has to sacrifice his life because the bond is forfeited, but he just expects Bassanio to be present at the moment when Shylock cuts his pound of flesh, so that he could see Antonio pay his debt, and then he does not care. He says, pray God that Bassanio may come to see me discharge his debt, and then I care for nothing else. So this is what happens in the scene. Thank you for watching, and next day we will continue with the next scene. Thank you.